don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job.
Yeah, tell me about it.
The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Ha! No! Have you ever watched that movie?
No, what movie is that? What is that from?
It's a network. It's like a 1976 show. I want to show some. I love this song too. I actually heard this song on another video
Really?
the other day, and I was like, "Whoa, that's weird." It like makes me feel weird. I'm like, copyright infringement. Yeah.
I think I found this when I was just making a video one time. I was like, that's a nice little groove.
Yeah, it is. It's like, yeah, it's a little groovy. It's like on there, kind of. I like it. Welcome.
See how long I stay awake.
Yeah, yeah, right. See how long the power works, internet works, how long he can stay awake. He is reclined, so, drinking alcohol and half reclined, he's almost there. Hey. Cheers. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 257th episode of the Political Spotlight, the Property Tax Plan Review, which means this should be like plenty boring. No, it's going to be fun and exciting. It's going to be
like talking about property taxes.
Yeah, right. Right. No, real quick. One of these days, I'm going to play, we'll get copyright dinged for it. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you will want to be here live. It's great to watch the show in repeat, but one of these days, we will play that part of the network show, because I played it a couple times where he's in the news network. But it's great because what he does is he gets out from around the desk and he keeps saying that. I want you to go to the window and I want you to scream, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And he gets up and the camera is like one of those old style cameras and it's walking back and he's getting closer and all of the news people, the producers are like, what the hell's going on? But the news executives are like sitting there. He's like having a breakdown and he keeps saying it. Like he says it like for 4 minutes. I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I want you to say I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And he just keeps doing it. And he's getting right up in the camera. And then what happens is all of a sudden it starts showing like 1970s New York, and a window pops open and someone comes out and says, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And it thunders. And then everyone opens their windows and everyone's screaming like in New York and Boston. And they all start calling the station and they're like, people's yelling in Tokyo and people's yelling in New York. And it's like, dude, I watched it with my grandparents just the other day, and I was like, God, that inspires me. I wish that would happen. Like, we need that to happen. But people are too lazy.
Right now, open your window and shout, "I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore."
I just go out and make sure your radials are still there.
Yeah, steel belts and radials. Where are my steel belts and radials?
Oh God. So tonight it's going to be an interesting show. We're a little kind of late on the draw on this, but I think that we're right here because now we actually have a majority of the plans. I don't know if Jennifer McCormick's going to release a plan or not.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. She's going on Kendall and Casey here next week. She was supposed to have appeared
tomorrow.
It might be. Maybe I lied. Maybe it's not tomorrow. Maybe it's not next week. Maybe it's tomorrow. You might be right.
Yeah,
Let me go.
Posted that.
Let me go check that out here real quick.
Yeah, look at Rob's page. I think he posted on his page. She'll be in tomorrow, Wednesday.
11:06 tomorrow, Wednesday. Democrat Jennifer McCormick will join them in studio. Now, I'm a little salty because she was scheduled here on Thursday, July 18th, and then she dropped out. She backed out of that, and that's not a good look in my opinion, but it is what it is. So it is what it is.
Have they just iced us out? They're just not talking to us at all or responding?
I just sent her a text message today. I sent a text message to both her and to Griffin Reed, who is the media director for Braun. So not to Jennifer directly, to Jennifer's media person, Carrie Fraud. Surely that's not her name.
Some broad.
Let's see here. Something like that. Fraud. I don't know. So I reached out to both of them. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It is what it is. I think that the voters deserve to hear from everybody. I'm also not happy with whatever Trump's doing. Not going to debate with Kamala because he was like, oh, it's Joe. I don't care. Candidates should talk to everybody everywhere. Don't make excuses. Just go do it. Shut up. I don't want to hear about it. That's just, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I don't like when anybody gets out of it for whatever reason.
Yeah, Kamala's been awfully quiet since announcing. It's weird you announce presidency and then it's doing the Joe Biden basement thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, she announced her VP pick today.
Yeah, I saw that Walls or whatever his name is.
Walls is how wonderful it's been going up in his neck of the woods for the last couple of years. But
yeah, no shit.
It is what it is. We don't want any of that.
Riots. We got riots.
Yeah, right. So, well, before we get started, I'll just read through the description of the show, let everybody know kind of what the agenda tonight's show is. If you guys haven't read the agenda, it says, This is it. 257. It's the big review. With producer Kate's assistance, hosts Kristopher H, Bilbrey and Brandon Rudd detail the recent property tax reform plans rolled out during this 2024 election season. Mike Braun, Republican candidate for governor of Indiana, released his property tax reform plan on Friday, July 26th, my birthday. However, only 3 days later.
Birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Happy birthday to someone's wife.
Yeah, that was his gift for you.
Yeah, right. Right. However, only 3 days later, on Monday, July 29th, only 3 days, the Braun campaign started walking back various points of that plan. Braun is now currently working on a revamped plan, but has not released the plan as of this broadcast live Tuesday, August 6th, 2024. Donald Rainwater, Libertarian candidate for governor of Indiana, released his first property tax reform plan during the 2020 campaign for governor. Since then, he has reworked and revamped a few specific aspects here and there, But I just got off the phone with him about an hour and a half before going live tonight. It's amazing that he's that accessible. I talked to him while he was eating Arby's, you know.
They have the meats.
It is, yeah, you know. And he said, yep, this is the plan. You know, it's been in place. It's been in place for the last 4 years. This man has had a plan in place for the last 4 years. Any of our state representatives, including J.D. Prescott or any of our state senators, could have taken a hold of his plan and even stole his plan and ran with it or reworked it or done something, but they didn't. So he's had a plan, Rainwater, in place for 4 years, while Braun has been scrambling in the last month to put one forward, even while you know, Micah Beckwith, everybody's hero on the Republican side, even he, you know, has been doing whatever he's been doing. Rainwater's had a plan in place for the last 4 years.
Well, how do we expect the Republicans to do anything? We haven't known we're having property tax issues, nor have they been in control for very long.
Right. You know, completely all new stuff going on with these people. It's, you know, yeah, it's shocking. Third, Jennifer McCormick, a Democratic candidate for governor of Indiana, has yet to release a plan related to the property tax reform. This is a significant issue for many Hoosiers, facing many Hoosiers. Will not having a plan at this point hurt her campaign? Will a plan be forthcoming? Or is the campaign simply focusing on various other issues facing Indiana? And there are plenty of other issues. I mean, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's interesting what's going on there.
Hey, depending on the plan, not releasing them one might help.
Absolutely, depending on what the right.
Like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have said that. Let's go back to when you didn't have a plan. Well, I don't know. Maybe she has a good one. I don't know.
Right. Then there's the wild card, and the wild card being District 33 State Representative J.D. Prescott, Republican from Union City. Obviously, he's the representative for District 33, which is Randolph County, Henry County, Delaware County, Jay County, Blackford County, parts or whole of all of those counties, you know. And he has been elected and or reelected to the same office for 3 consecutive terms, is currently up for re-election for his 4th term in this 2024 election cycle. During his time in office, he has shown nearly no initiative with this or any other issue for that matter. But now, all of a sudden, 10 days after his party's candidate for governor, Braun, released a plan, Prescott appears on 93.1 WIBC to announce some half-cocked property tax reform plan, which have left many people scratching their heads wondering what's going on.
Well, that's not fair. He's worked on trying to name us the Hoosier State twice now. He's so busy doing that, we couldn't do anything meaningful to help Hoosiers. Pressing
legislation there. Pressing legislation. Thank God he's got us named the Hoosier State. Did that finally go through this time or no?
No, they won't even hear it because it's a waste of time. It's stupid.
Everyone's like, what? Aren't we already named that? Sit down, JD.
It's a vanity.
Yeah. So which plan's the best plan? What candidate truly cares? What candidates don't care? Will Indiana get some form of property tax reform ever? Why is this such an issue still, with Indiana having been and currently being a supermajority Republican conservative state? Where does Micah Beckwith, Republican candidate for lieutenant governor of Indiana, fit into this? What about 93.1 WIBC's Rob Kendall? What in the hell is really going on? Does anybody really know? Does anybody truly care? Hopefully tonight, myself and Brando and Kate will be able to analyze all of this thoroughly and add the commentary that you have all come to expect from us all. So that's kind of what we're going to do tonight. Before we get there, number one, I do want to say, if you could go through and hit the like and the share and all of that, we would greatly appreciate it. If you're here watching us via YouTube, thank you. If you're here from somewhere else, thank you. It doesn't matter where you're watching from. We're just happy that you're watching. Whether you're watching live or on repeat, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're very interactive. Please comment over here if you're watching live. Comment down here if you're watching on repeat. And share the show with everyone you know. That would be that would be the best. Terrence Howard Math. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. That's what I was going to say, Tweety Bird. I'm glad you got it. I thought Brandon would get it. Does anybody know what time it is? Yeah, I was singing a little Chicago there, but Tweety Bird got it. I'm glad someone picked up on it. Hey, what?
Didn't Catherine and her crew, haven't they been using that HB 1338 on them? I thought one of their videos, they gave them the 3 count and kicked them out.
It wasn't even really like the 3 count. It was like they like gave him a half of a 1 and kicked the lady out. I was like, don't leave, make him kick you out.
Yeah, you get 2 more strikes. Come on,
right.
man.
You get 2 more strikes.
which is the fun loophole in that bill that nobody thought about, and I didn't really want to call it out because I didn't want them to fix it. But how funny would it be if you got like 10 people and you all just burned 2 strikes and said, okay, see you next meeting.
Everybody
interrupt like 20 times and they can't kick you out because you're not at 3.
That's amazing.
Just overrun and ruin every meeting just to show them their asshole.
Oh, that would be amazing. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, I do feel it is important to probably cover a little bit of breaking news here real quick. We're not going to spend much time on this. We will talk about this in more depth tomorrow. But there is some major breaking news out of the city of Muncie. This came out earlier today. I made a Facebook post about this, but here's the official press release. Good morning. This was a very bittersweet press release for me to write as I am announcing my departure as communications director for the city of Muncie. I have loved my time at City Hall, and it has been an honor to serve my city. I am thrilled, however, to accept my dream job as a psychology faculty at Ivy Tech and will be teaching at the Muncie campus this fall. My last day will be this Friday, but I will continue to serve as a contractor, go figure, to wrap up my ongoing projects and fulfill my basic duties until my replacement is found. Cheers, Michelle Owen. And of course, Michelle Owen, ladies and gentlemen, is and has been the communications director for about 2 years now. She's the currently
the
fifth. She's the fifth communications director for the city of Muncie. I keep a running tally. These are all of the department heads that have left under Ridenhour's tenure, which is just absolutely crazy.
Which is what, 4.5 years?
We're basically 4.5 right now. Michelle will be the 22nd person to leave, and just kind of interesting in my posting that I made about this. I had a little bit of people kind of questioning where I was going with it. And I just really briefly want to say that, I basically said breaking news, City of Muncie communications director is out as of Friday, August 9th, which is this coming Friday. Owen is the 5th communications director under the Ridenhour administration. Her replacement will be the 6th. This is hopefully a move in the right direction for the city. While Owen is and has been a pleasure to talk to and interact with on a personal human-to-human level, as far as a communications director, she has really left a lot to be desired. Specifically from January of last year, 2023, on. Improving communications was one of Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenhour's main campaign promises during the 2018-19 campaign for mayor. However, it has been something that he and his department heads, including his 5 various communications directors, have struggled with. Will communications in the city of Muncie improve in the days, weeks, months, and years to come? Only time will tell. And I just want to say for the record, because a couple people had responded to this, and I completely get it. I don't hold any, look, we don't all have to like the same people, yada, 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 or whatever. But, you know, one person came on here and said, I'll defend her. She put out what she was told to put out, or not put out what she was told to not put out. The position of City of Muncie Communications Director should have more autonomy than it does. That's on Dan, not Michelle. Michelle is very capable and articulate person. She will excel in the classroom. Her students will be the beneficiary. I'm absolutely thrilled for her. And I just, for the record, I said, I have no ill will towards Michelle. I got along with Michelle. I always got along with Michelle. Michelle and I have always been friendly and pleasant enough. While I agree 98% that at the end of the day, it's the elected official that matters, in this case, Dan, she's not the elected official. Dan is where the buck stops. However, Michelle has personally told me that Dan has allowed her to run that office the way that she sees fit. And I personally know that a couple of the biggest blunders have been her call. And at the end of the day, when she's told me that, I gotta, you know, all right, Dan gets slap on the wrist, but she still gets to fit that. You know, it is what it is. Dan gets the credit or the blame for the good and or bad that happens, and it's on him when it comes to how he and his administration communicates and or doesn't communicate with the public. That's on him. That said, Michelle is a strong and capable person with a confident voice and opinion. And I personally know of a few specific issues of calls that she's made, which, you know, I think could have been better, but it is what it is. That's life. And, you know, the show must go on. So, yeah, right. I hear you there. I hear you there, Rainwater. I would not take that. I look at that very much like the vice presidency. I would compare that to a bucket of warm piss. So I would not take that for any reason.
So I didn't realize that her Michelle's background was in psychology, and she didn't really have a communications background. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Now, GW here has said, I heard Amber Green will be the new the communications director. Is there any truth to this? So
do they have any plans to announce who the new communications director is? Did you say it was like the day after she retires they're going to announce it or something?
Wait, Paul, I was reading that comment. Say what you said again, Brandon.
Is there are there any plans to announce a new communications director?
Well,
have they said anything about that?
So here's the thing. I have heard, all right, so we've talked, this is strange. So we've been talking about Greenlight Resources and all of that deal. She really took on the sun thing, the big sun thing back in April, the eclipse. And then that was kind of a dud around here. And I feel like that really knocked her props out from underneath her. I feel like that she really took that hard. Plus, I think the fact that she's in some kind of a business, professional, and personal relationship with Dustin Clark. I think this thing with Dustin Clark probably threw her for a loop. I personally will tell you, I've not heard anything, GW. That's very interesting. I'm good friends with Amber Green. I've not talked to Amber. I've not talked to her today. I would be shocked if that's the case. I've not heard anything about that. I don't know. Amber's been a small business owner. She's had political aspirations. She's mostly been in the county. I've not heard anything about that. I will look into that, and I will contact Miss Green and find Mrs. Green. She's married. I will contact Mrs. Green and find out if that is correct. That's shocking. I have not heard that. I have for a fact heard that Michelle has been looking at leaving the city of Muncie. I've been hearing that since about May or June, that she's been looking at her future with the city and looking for other options. Now, kind of concerned that she says that she will leave on the 9th and be in a contractor position. I don't want a contractor in this position. I don't like this. I'm not happy with that. We don't need any. What?
That's expensive.
Yeah, we don't need any more of that for the city. I gotta say, I'm friends with Amber. I mean, I think Amber would be more bold voice than for Dan than what Michelle is. I think that would be interesting. I have not heard that. I will look into that. I will put my ear to the ground and I will do everything. You know, I normally have sources at City Hall. I will know it before they release it. So as soon as I know about that, I'll put that out.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that contract stuff sucks. They still have Adam Leach contract, don't they?
Yeah. This dude still got a credit card with the city of Muncie, and he spends upwards of several thousand a month on his credit card bills. And I don't understand what they've got going on there.
Well, whoever takes over that job, I want them to delete that shitty communications page and just open up comments again on the City of Muncie page. That's what I'd like to see. That person would get my vote.
Right. I always hate this. This is like when your parents are divorced and you know your dad or mom's bringing in a new step parent. You know, we got to go through this awkward thing of being like, now, you know, you got to send me emails. I know we're just a shitty podcast in a basement, but I'm as important as WTHR, damn it. You know, so we got to go through all of this and whatever. So we'll find out what goes on there. Okay. Enough of that. I will look into that. GW kind of threw me there. That's kind of shocking. I had not heard that. I will look into that. But we will discuss Michelle and all of that more tomorrow. The Board of Works and all of that. We'll do Muncie tomorrow. We've got to get on with the property tax. We got a lot to go with this property tax. So, I don't know. Kate, you want to come up here just for a second?
Sure. Why am I up here?
Kate put together a really good, great, fantastic document for us.
Oh, you mean you and I did?
What?
Oh, it was all you boys.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm just here looking
Remember
cute.
when we made that?
I did it all myself. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. I did no mathing. So
Kristopher needs fingers and toes for math.
Yeah. Right. I thought you said a toaster. I was going to be like my toes and a toaster. Yeah. So I just want to ask between you three. Basically, I have all three of the interviews of these candidates pulled up with Rob and Casey. If we ever want to listen to any parts of those, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to break this down to go through this plan for everybody. We can pull up the plans of everybody. What are you thinking would be the best way to approach this?
Well, Rainwater made this really great mix on his page. Kind of.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's a good starting place.
This is a good starting point. Yeah. So, okay.
Oh,
so we'll start
last.
Yeah, right. Save the best for last. Is that what you said?
I thought that's what you're supposed to do, but yeah, we can start with Rainwaters.
Hey, to me, there's only really one plan here, and it is Rainwaters. The other two plans are absolute duds, and it's basically just trying to talk out why they both did what they did. Mm-hmm. But okay, so you know, I mean, basically, I mean, when you first heard Braun's plan, Brandon, what was your thought?
I think if I'm going to put it in one word, probably underwhelming, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, oh, okay, you're going to like, you know, it's how the Republicans do things. Like how previously, like, here, we're going to help you. We're going to lower the property taxes to the lowest levels ever. We're going to drop it by like 1/10 of a percentage point. And then they just reassess all of our property values and we just got destroyed anyway. look at his. I'm like, I guess some of these things would help a little bit for a little while, but like nothing that meaningful. Again, it comes down to the libertarian in me just being disgusted by the fact that I'm paying the government rent to live in my home for the rest of my life still.
Yeah, right. Right. So
I have a hard time talking about any of them without describing like the benefits of the libertarian policy, I guess.
Well, sure. So I guess the first thing to say is what's really shocking to me is the fact that, Braun he didn't just start running a month ago. I mean, hell, he won the primary, which was back in May. Okay. And what's happening there?
Niles is asleep.
Oh.
You might get a bit of a sideshow here. So hopefully this drowns out the sounds of my husband.
Oh, the snoring.
Yes.
Is he asleep at the table?
No, he's in the living room.
No, he's in the living room.
Is that loud?
Yeah. There have been times we've been talking after the show, and I've been like, dude, is he head down on the table? And she's like, no, he's in the other room. And I'm like, there's no way. Yeah. There's no way. Show me.
Look.
Yeah.
There's his chair.
There's his throne.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because I've been talking. I'm like, was that the dog?
It's impressive.
She's like, no, that's Niles. They've got wood floors and it's a big house, so it reverberates everywhere. It's insane. All right, so that's hilarious.
How dare you, Catherine?
So, that's hilarious, Catherine. All right, here's the deal. The issue I have with this is Braun, even up until Beckwith won, was basically telling people, oh, this is a local issue. This is not something that we need to be concerned with. This is a local issue, local government issue, and we're not going to focus on this. And basically what happened was when he didn't get his pick for lieutenant governor, when he got slapped down, and when the people did the right thing in putting Beckwith forward and giving him that opportunity to hold Braun accountable. Now, I don't think that's going to do what everyone thinks it's going to do. I think that Braun will still be able to hold him at far enough distance. However, just his victory was a shot across the bow, and I think it's a good thing. That, however, then put him in the oh shit category because Beckwith and Rob are friends. So Beckwith has basically the bully pulpit. Anytime he wants to go on the Kendall and Casey show, he can go on there and lay out all of this stuff. So they finally said, oh crap, we're going to have to do this show. Braun agreed to do the Kendall and Casey show. He knew he had to take something in there. And he basically had 30 days to work a plan forward. And the plan that we got from him was very lackluster. And it just Braun no-showed at the Tea Party. Oh, when was that? How long ago was that?
It was just a couple weeks ago, I think, wasn't it?
Okay, that's interesting.
So now that you're saying that about Braun, you're making me think of my conspiracy theories again. Do you think Micah worked with JD on that plan to force Braun's hand? To say, if you don't come up with a plan, then we're going to just work around you, and the Indiana General Assembly will propose plans to make you look like an idiot during your campaign?
I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. I just truly don't understand what's happening. And I don't understand why more people aren't questioning what's going on with this situation with JD Prescott, who has not believed in. Real quick, I want to play about the first 5 minutes of JD's interview, because I want to hear his the way that he and Rob approach this, and let people hear how disgusting it is, because he goes in hat in hand, apologizing, saying, oh, look at me, I'm sorry. It was all just complete gaslighting bull crap. And give me 1 second here. We're just going to listen like a few minutes.
I was so mad yesterday. I finally calmed down. I'm going to get all fired up again. Let's do it.
Right.
Such a lying piece of crap.
Sending money.
Yeah.
Printing the money because we have no money. And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here, and I like this next segment, Casey, because we got a guy with a plan.
Yeah, he does. He's got a vision. He would like to lay it out for everybody.
You know, it's one of the things we've been asking over the
guy
past
with a
really
plan.
3 years now is what is the plan with property taxes in this state? Obviously, the people running for governor have a plan, and we've said, wait a second. The plan should be to get out of property taxes because the government's got no business having a lien on your home.
This is true.
And our next guest said, I agree. And he joins us now. JD Prescott. How are you? Hello, my friend.
Morning, Rob.
All
Morning,
right.
Casey. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Now, just to prove we didn't bring in some rank and file amateur. You're a big muckety muck over there at the state house. You're a state representative.
I am. I've been.
First off, he is
Rob
an
is licking his
amateur.
ass.
What?
Rob is licking his ass, and it just makes me sick.
Oh, yeah. I don't like how Rob's treating him because Rob, it's not like it's just me and Kate and Brandon hating on JD. Rob and JD have had head-butted for years and years. Brandon actually brought it to my attention the other day. I forgot this, that that Rob actually used to refer to JD as the try guy. He tries and tries, but never actually accomplishes anything.
Well, like JD would come up with plans like, well, I'm trying to get this and that done. They just won't let me.
Yeah.
It's the same thing he's doing. Anyway, I won't get too far ahead, but it's basically what he's doing now. He's coming up with things that are never going to happen, so it doesn't matter.
Right,
but
right.
You got Kendall. For some reason, Rob's buying it again, but he knows that JD's the try guy. So, anyways,
yeah, that's what I don't understand. I've been in. Either we've been in or I've been in to talk to Rob, in various different forms, several different times, and every time we've been in, the topic of conversation has either been around something stupid that JD has done, or if it's like I went in once to talk about Sproles down in Henry County. But during the downtimes, we talked about how stupid JD was being in the downtimes. And so Rob has battled this guy. And then now to hear this, he's a big muckety muck, or he's a what? Yeah. As I said, he is a muckety muck. Definitely. I agree with that. All right, well, here we go.
On the muck.
In the General Assembly.
Yeah.
And remember we gave Kendall and Casey those pamphlets? Those are hilarious.
Yes.
To call out every idiotic thing JD's done in those pamphlets.
Right. I wish they would have had those there. I wanted this. Yeah, this interview is disgusting. All right, so here it goes.
Since 2018, but a big muckety muck. I don't know about that. I'm on the Ways and Means Committee, but
You control the money?
We do work on the budget. We control the budget and the monetary issues.
All right, so let's start with you have a plan. Now, this is not in concrete. It's not etched in stone. It's not going to probably even be voted on this next year. But you're working on a plan to get us out of property taxes in the state of Indiana. Get rid of property taxes in the state of Indiana.
Why would it not be voted on? Why the first thing? We are 30 seconds into the interview. And in the first 30 seconds, they say, this is not going to be voted on in the next year.
There's nothing concrete, nothing written down in stone. Probably won't happen for several years. Right? So why are we talking about it?
Yeah, why are we here? What are we talking about? There's a lot of more important things going on right currently that we could be focusing on.
Well, I will say, because I hadn't listened to the last part until you told me to yesterday. In Rob's defense, what Rob explained that he's trying to do is he just wants to keep the conversation focused on property taxes as much as possible. So in his defense, I would say that Rob he's not stupid. Rob's probably like, yeah, this is a dumb plan. It's not going to work. There's a million flaws. But at least we're talking about it, I guess, right?
And I think it also forces people to compare it to Braun's plan, to Rainwater's plan.
Yeah.
It's keeping that in the spotlight, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can see why he's even talking to him about it. But it's weird timing.
Keep in mind, because this was live yesterday, and that's only 10 days from when the head of the party, basically, it's like Trump. When the president becomes elected, they become the head of the national party. When your governor is elected, Republican or Democrat, they become basically the head of. There's a chair to the party, but the highest ranking elected official is the chair, is the leader of that party. So Braun is running. He's put out this plan, and we know that it has some issues. But what still would you release a plan B plan? Because all to me that says is we don't have faith in Braun. And there's a lot of questions to this because it's like, first of all, JD's not smart enough to make a plan on his own. Now, there's not much plan here.
No.
But whatever this is, JD's not smart enough to come up with this on his own. And a big issue that I have for anyone that's out there listening, that's a big Beckwith fan. Remember one of the reasons that I gave Beckwith a bunch of credit the night that he was here with us? Because he took time to answer all of the questions. And we said, well, it's time to go, but you'll have to look back and answer the other questions. He said, no, let's answer them now. And he took a little extra time and answered everyone's question. He got on to kiss JD's ass in the live chat. And he was on there and he was like, go, JD, go. And I questioned him.
Everyone listen to JD's plan.
Yeah, right. And I got on immediately after him and I said, can you advise Mr. Beckwith if you have had a hand in dealing with anything about this plan that JD is putting forward? And he ghosted right then.
Yeah, he was gone the rest of the time.
He left right then. So I thought that was interesting. Rainwater here says Prescott's plan would put a sales tax on healthcare, childcare, and every other professional service. I oppose this. Hands down. That's nuts. What? More taxes. That sounds like fantastic. It's completely insane to me. That is absolutely nuts.
Well, it's funny. It's like it just makes no sense. Because it's like, here, we'll give you property tax relief by just making you pay the taxes elsewhere. It's like, that's not relief, dude. That's just moving it. We're still paying taxes.
Yeah.
Now we're just paying them on something else. So what's the benefit to Hoosiers?
And we're actually getting double taxed.
Well, yeah. And it's confusing. Like Kate, I think Kate said, in there, if you're a salon owner, you're paying the tax to the federal government on the shampoo that you sell, and you're paying the tax to your haircuts to the state. I mean, it's so much more confusing for people, and it's taking care of a problem. To me, it's like, hey, I stopped doing meth, but now I'm a heroin addict. I used heroin to kick my meth addiction.
Yeah, that's solve your drug problem.
Yeah, right. All right, kick ass. Like I kicked my heroin addiction. Now I'm a cokehead.
Well, and then Brandon also brought up, if there is ever a reason why consumers suddenly stop using services, like during COVID, nobody did anything.
Yep.
Then your county's screwed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I just want, he hasn't said the part I want to get to yet. I want everybody to hear this. It's just real close here. I thought it was the first thing he said. Hold on here.
We're kind of shredding it before we even got to it.
Yeah. So when we,
we're kind of shredding it before we even got to it.
No, that's fine. That's how it is. JD sucks.
When I go out and talk to voters, and I just had a primary.
JD doesn't go out and talk to voters. Brandon, have you ever heard of such a thing?
Dude, we've emailed and called him so many times. The last town hall we went to, he hid on the opposite side of the room from us, so he wouldn't have to answer questions, and tried to like run out the room as far from us as possible. He gave such a wide berth, and I was like, "Oh, hey JD, you got time to answer questions?" He goes, "No." I went, "That's for nothing," and then he just like ran away, like he refused to answer anyone's questions. He does not talk to constituents. He talked to the superintendent. He gave him a special meeting at the end of it for about 15, 20 minutes.
Yep. And I think the only reason he did that was so he could get out of having to stand around and talk to you and or I. You know,
well, that was off the record too.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Oh, and my question was, which actually kind of pertains to some of the things he says, was I was going to ask him because he sent out a survey to the constituents asking if we should get rid of straight ticket voting.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask him, is he going to propose legislation on it? Because his constituents overwhelmingly, is like 2/3 of the people said, yeah, we want to get rid of straight ticket voting. And I think there were about 7 representatives who asked that question. I think 6 out of 7 overwhelmingly said they want to get rid of it. So JD's going to go through this thing saying how he's been listening to constituents and what they want. Well, they've already told him they want that, so we'll see if we get legislation on that.
Right.
And that's a fair question, but he wouldn't answer it. He wouldn't even let me ask it. So.
Well, yeah, right. He wouldn't he wouldn't take that. Okay, so he's jokingly saying that he's doing this because he's talked to voters going door to door, and which he does not do.
Primary elections, I was out talking to constituents. Property taxes, one of the main issues that kept coming up. And I know you guys have been talking about property taxes here as well. And you know, Rob, you asked me to come on actually a while back on property taxes. It was an issue, and going to sidetrack a little bit here. When I first was elected into the House, I always said I wanted to be transparent and come on. And so first off, I should have taken you up on that. I should have came on. So I owe the listeners an apology.
Look at this guy.
Look at this guy. Listen, I love Rob. Rob and I are friends. Blow it out your ass, dude. This is sucking up to the guy in front of you. Rob is such a hard ass to everybody else. Don't do this. Look at this guy. Rob and I have had conversation after conversation after conversation. This man called the police on people. This man would not allow, when he went to talk to school teachers, would not allow the school newspaper to be there. He locks down rooms. He's afraid of going on record. He's threatened Brandon. He's filed charges against somebody that came to his picnic. He refuses to answer me when I helped get JD elected in 2018. And JD and I had this plan that like once a quarter, he was going to come on my show back then and give a legislative update to the listeners. That happened one time. And then the very next time I asked him a hard question about a question that appeared on one of his surveys. And after I asked him that hard question, he shut me out.
Well, and I find it ironic that this fool is on here talking about how he wants to end property taxes. This is the same fool that was the sole dissenting vote for property tax breaks for disabled veterans.
Which is funny because probably the only reason I'm here right now on this show is because, number one, JD did what Kate just described. He was the only vote against property tax breaks for disabled veterans. And I tried to ask him about it on Facebook, and he pulled his spruels and blocked me. And I said, JD, you can't do that. You're in session right now. You're discussing pending legislation. You're accepting input from constituents on legislation and giving these updates. You are clearly working as a government official right now. You can't block me. He didn't care. So got a hold of Gavin Rose, and we had a whole lawsuit. I later went to a town hall of his, and I tried to record, and he stopped in the middle of whatever he was stammering through and said, I didn't give you permission to record, and I better not see any video of me on the internet. After he said that, I said, you are not going to threaten my constitutional right. I made plenty of parody videos of him. I post about him every time I get an opportunity. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot say and how I can use my First Amendment, dude. You can kick my ass. And so that's how that's really how we met.
Yeah. Kate did the same thing, was helping me back on the old program, and she had been following the situation with Brandon, and Kate's like, dude, you got to listen to this guy's story. And I actually read an article that appeared in the paper, and then we interviewed him. And I didn't know Brandon. I was like, yeah, I knew JD was a jerk off. I knew that he was, just an asshole and whatever. But I was like, I didn't know Brandon. And I'm telling this story, and he's saying what he's saying. And she knows she did it. Chris Bunner called me, and Chris Bunner's like, hey, that guy is telling it exactly like it is. Matter of fact, he's probably underselling it. She was like, I was there and that happened. And I was like, all right. Because if Chris Bunner says it, I'm down. I believe it. And it happened. And so that's why Brandon and Kate and I know each other, because of what JD did here. But him going on there and he's like, well, I should probably come in. JD owes me an apology. JD owes all of you an apology. Listen, Rob isn't a constituent of his. I'm glad that he went down there and talked to Rob. You know what? The people around the donut area of Indianapolis aren't constituents of JD's. 98% of the people that listen to that program don't vote for JD. So it's great that JD went down there and would be willing to talk to them, but he's shitting on his people up here in the district.
And he won't bring that plan to talk to anybody here in his district.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, he goes on in that interview to say, I want to hear from you guys out there. So just email me, but tell me where you're from, because I want to know. How about I'm a Hoosier, JD? You know that name that you're so caught up with? I'm a Hoosier, and that's good enough.
Well, it's funny because his tax plan is so goofy. He keeps talking about like how it's just so stupid.
What exactly is his tax plan? Can we go over what that is? So JD's tax plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay. JD's tax plan is...
So let me describe it. So, when you're a little kid and someone asks you, like, draw your dream house, and you've got weird, like, water slides sticking out the side of it and, like, trampolines on the roof and stuff like that. It's basically that.
Yes.
The plan is that property taxes are eliminated.
Yeah.
You don't pay property taxes anymore.
Yep. Wonderful. Great.
Yes. To replace property taxes, now you will pay a 7% sales tax on services.
7%.
You get a haircut, you get your lawn mowed, you get your car worked on, you go to the doctor. Anything that you do, you pay 7% sales tax on now.
Yeah.
However, if you are a business to business doing services, then you don't have to pay it. Isn't it ironic that every tax thing that he seems to put forward seems to benefit his mom and dad?
Yeah.
Mommy and daddy. Me?
Yeah.
I mean, he raised the deductions for farmers.
Yeah.
And now he's getting rid of property taxes, and anyone with an LLC doesn't have to pay the sales tax on services. Convenient.
Yeah, right.
Well, his parents only own 3,000 acres, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Growing Christians.
Yeah, growing Bibles or whatever they do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right. Right.
So, and that's humorous to me as well, because, dude, what easier business to dodge taxes on than the service business? Like my hairstylist, because I have to have a stylist. Dude, I'd just be like, hey, you want to cut my hair for free? We'll just not even pay for it. Oh, by the way, Merry Christmas. Here's a installment of your Christmas present at $20.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, and like Kate said,
I'm not saying I would do that, but like, how many
Sure.
services can you just pay in cash and they just don't report it?
Yeah, that's
I'll
so
just file
easy.
myself as an LLC.
Yeah, like Kate said, basically what we're going to do
We're
is
going to have a class.
every Sunday, we're going to start teaching people how to become LLC, you know, and this will be very easy. We'll start making paper, you know, what he put forward.
It takes 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
10 minutes and $20 and you're an LLC and now you don't have to pay any sales tax on services. I think it's brilliant.
What he put forward in a plan that's not going to be voted on this year, probably is not going to be voted on next year. It's not written in stone. What?
It'll probably never be voted on. If we're gonna be honest.
Right. And this will fall to the wayside. Like right. If he even writes this up. So okay, there's the big sticking point. What is JD doing? What was the point of what he did? What's the point of why he's doing this with Rob? That's what I don't understand. Because let me tell everybody else the scuttlebutt. The scuttlebutt that's went around says let me tell you this here. So Abdul Hakim Shabazz in his cheat sheet has wrote the following. There are 3 rollouts that will go down in history as the worst in history. The Hindenburg, the Titanic, and Mike Braun's property tax reform plan, which is comical. Braun unveiled his plan last week, which would have been, last week. It did all sorts of stuff. You can read it here, and we can show it to you again. What was wrong with that plan? Let me rephrase that. What wasn't wrong with the plan? Braun provided no cost estimates. Okay, you can see it here. Braun provided no cost estimates. He wanted to freeze assessments at the 2021 level, even though local governments have spent, budgeted, and borrowed based on 2022, 2023 assessments. You're screwed if your home was built after 2021. And if you rent, you're also screwed. Then they realized that they had made an error. One fact that was, if you ran the numbers, it really didn't save the homeowners any money. So they had to revamp it. We're still waiting on the revamp, okay? On top of all of that, Braun did not communicate with the House and Senate leadership. So this is the part that is really strange.
Oh.
Braun did not communicate his plan with the House and Senate leadership. All right? Now we kick into the next part. In fact, privately, a lot of lawmakers are pissed at Braun and his team. Senator Travis Holdman, and State Representative Jeff Thompson were pulling out what little hair they had left on their heads. Speaker Todd Houston and Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray are being very diplomatic when they say they will look at Braun's plan as part of a larger discussion on taxes, which is State House speak for it ain't gonna happen. Yeah. By the way, the rough cost estimate is anywhere from 700 to 900 million. One idea in Braun's plan that folks like is the end on the 1-year assessments and instead do an average assessment of about 3 years. That would provide homeowners with better predictability with their property taxes. So that's what the scuttlebutt at the State House is. So with that being said, I just don't understand. I don't know. surely they're not you. I mean, JD is the errand boy of Todd Houston, but I don't think it's like the errand. It's like this, it's not like the serious errands. It's like park the car, get the coffee, stuff like that.
Remember last year they were trying to pass Senate Bill, what was it? Senate Bill 1499. That was supposed to reform property taxes because they all ran on it in 2022.
Yeah, right.
Because they were shooting up an average of 20% statewide annually. Ridiculousness. Yeah. And they stripped it of anything that would have provided any kind of relief. So the fact that Braun brought out a plan to put them on the spot to say, hey, I want to do this, and the legislators need to do this. They need to pass this bill. This is a great idea. Yeah, they're pissed because they already did lip service to it.
I don't get how Braun tries to do that without working with the House and the Senate, because he can't do anything without them anyway. Furthermore, I'm annoyed by the Republican Party in general because they've been super duper majority forever. And all of a sudden they've got a plan to fix this. I mean, they've been sending out mailers. Kate, you've gotten them for years. We get those stupid quarterly mailers that say, oh, thank us for saving you guys money on property taxes. What savings, dude?
Yeah. What
you guys savings? Are idiots.
What savings when you allow assessments to go up? Whatever the assessor decides he wants to jack it up. And if that's $40,000 or $50,000 in a year, well, too bad.
So they just pass the buck. They take credit for fixing it while not fixing anything. They go, we'll be mad at your localities.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't fish through this, Kate. You'll have to fish through this since you put it up.
All right, I'll fish through this. Okay, so they kept saying nobody's done any math. He hasn't put any numbers forward. Okay, fine. So his plan says that you start at $125,000 and you get a 60% homestead deduction. So they're redoing the homestead deduction, and that they can raise your assessment 2 to 3% annually. Okay, fine. So we get a $125,000 house. We take away the 60%. We're paying taxes on $50,000. So the first year we got $500. We add the 3% increase. Second year, $515, all the way down. Now, I only did this for a 30-year mortgage.
Okay.
This is your total that you've paid on property taxes over a 30-year period.
Yep.
You've paid 20% of the cost of your home in property taxes.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind that if you live in that house another 20 years, these numbers just keep going up and up and up and up and up. So this is actually just the term of your mortgage, not the total you're going to pay over your lifetime. That number is actually infinity, really.
Yeah.
Now, I did it again, assuming that they maintain the tax, the homestead deduction, and that they only, cap the increase. Okay. So we do the same thing again. We take away our homestead deduction, and we start out at $770 a year and add our 3% increase. And you keep going. At the end of your term of your mortgage, that's what you pay, $36,000. And I did it again on a house that is a $250,000 home. Assuming the 60% homestead deduction goes through with a 3% tax cap increase every year, you start out at $1,000 your first year. By the time you're done, you're at $2,400 and you've paid $47,000 in property taxes.
Year of your life you work just to pay the government?
Yeah, right, man. It's so gross.
And again, that's just the term of the mortgage. It keeps going year after year. So if you're in your house for 50 years because you bought it in your 20s and you lived to your 70s, you're fucked. By the time you're done, you'll probably have paid the value of your house in property taxes.
Well, that's an easy solution. You just go ahead and die sooner.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just die sooner and then you can.
Right.
Yeah, that's easy fix.
and leave it to your kids, and they'll pick it up in the year 20.
yeah.
And just keep on going. Rainwater's plan, which
now,
is
okay, everybody listen listen how much watch.
This is Rainwater's plan is really, really easy. There's not a whole lot of math involved in this.
This is my plan.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is the kind of plan I like.
I bought my house. It costs $125,000. I pay 7% sales tax. There's my total bill, $8,700.
That can't be
$250,000 house. Multiply by 7%. My property tax is $17,500, and I'm done. I never pay another dime. Now, they were trying to say on the Republican page that Rainwater's plan was going to cost you more.
What?
Now, I don't know about you, but I was pretty sure that $23,000 is greater than $8,700. Call me crazy. That might be wrong. Maybe my mathing is bad. But, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This is going to cost you.
Oh, yeah.
Way more.
I don't know. The Braun plan takes up more space on the Excel file, so it should be better.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they've worked harder. I mean, it's they've spent more time doing this.
I like it when it's really complicated, so that people can't think about it and you don't see it.
Well, and I wanted to do like $100,000 house.
Yeah.
And calculate that out, because his method for figuring out that is different than this straight 60%, $125,000. It's a straight 60%, 3% cap. I can't translate his plan to be able to calculate $100,000 house because it says something about you maintain the $48,000 homestead deduction. Okay, I can subtract. Got that. So now I'm down to $52,000. Okay, I can do this. However, it says that you also get a 60% additional deduction stipend thing.
Yeah, that's what we were trying to talk about the other night.
And I don't know what that 60% is of.
60% of what?
Yeah, 60% of the difference.
I think
after you take off the homestead, 60% of what? It makes no damn sense. And you want to talk about insane math? Then you're paying like $12 a year or something like that. If it's 60% of the difference, it's ridiculous.
I think I could get behind a plan where they take off like 93% of the total value of taxes, and then you don't pay it anymore. So I don't know. You just pay like 7% of the value of the home, and then you're done. Something like that. That would be a good plan.
Hey, that would be a really good plan.
It would be cheaper.
Yeah. I can't believe anybody hasn't thought of that. I mean, considering we pay a ridiculous amount of sales tax already in this state, we have the 4th highest in the country. Sales tax rate.
Don't Rainwater. You can have this one. You take the value of the house, you subtract 93% of it, and then what's left is what they pay in taxes, and then they never pay taxes again. You can have that one in charge.
Oh, that's so nice of you, Brandon, to share.
Came up with it myself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Every year your mortgage is going to go up because your escrow is going to change because your property taxes went up. Yep. I mean, Rainwater's plan is pretty straightforward. If you roll it into your escrow, you know exactly what your house payment is going to be for the term of that mortgage.
Yeah, you can predict it.
Yeah, the only thing that might change might be your insurance.
Well, and you don't have to worry about ever having the government seize your home. Ever.
Yeah. Hi, I've lived in my house for 32 years. It's paid in full, but I forgot to pay my tax bill 2 years in a row. So now I can go and the government can come and take it away.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely asinine.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's craziness.
I'm guessing you guys are leaning towards the idea that Rainwater's plan is the superior one here.
Listen, here's the thing.
And that counties just need to learn to tighten their damn belts.
I know that we seem extremely biased when we are.
Because we are.
I still would treat Braun respectful. I want him to come on. I want to have a good conversation with him. I want him to explain shit and talk to you guys. I still want to have Jennifer on. We would be polite to all of these people. But Rainwater's the way that I'm leaning. I can talk to them. Moreover, it's not about them talking to me and them talking to Brandon. It's them talking to you guys, to you people.
Hey, Kristopher. Would you be as polite to them as Rob Kendall was to JD?
I would be as polite. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, your big muckety mucks down there. Oh man, Rob, you're killing me with that interview, dude.
GW, my home has gone up $50,000 in the assessed value since I bought it, and I've done nothing to increase that value. Yet we have to pay that value on our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how do they justify these ridiculous increases in assessment? Don't tell me that I bought my house for $70,000 and now you're telling me that it's worth 120. Don't tell me I can sell it at 120.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's supposed to be fair market value.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that things have increased that damn much. Counties have gotten used to this ARPA money. They got all these millions and millions of dollars during COVID, and they liked it. They had money to fuck around with, and they loved it. And when ARPA money got shut off, they're like, well, shit, now we have to go back and behave and not spend how much, we want to, whenever we want to, because we've got this $1 million slush fund.
Screw that.
Screw that. We'll just raise assessments and we'll take it in property taxes.
Well, I think that's another problem with Braun and J.D. Prescott is they haven't really talked about cutting spending. I think Don Rainwater is the only one who's really said, hey, we'll still collect some property tax, but we're going to have to cut off some excessive spending. It's like, how about you guys stop treating us like your piggy bank, your personal little debit card?
Well, that's the thing that they're always talking about. Like, well, wait a minute, how what are we going to if we're cutting this? What are we going to increase to make this money back? Wait a minute, what's going on with that incredibly large rainy day, super secret slush fund that just keeps growing and growing and growing? What's going on with that money?
Well, and that's another thing that Rob did acknowledge that there were some issues with JD's plan. He didn't kind of dig into them, but one of them is that JD, well, he did mention that JD's like, yeah, it'll take a couple years because first we're going to have property tax and this additional tax to build up even more of our slush fund so that we can make sure that we can kind of stabilize things and we can keep our spending levels up. Instead of just saying, you know what, we might have to tighten the belt for a little while it stabilizes. He says, no, we're just going to take more of your money. And I talked to you about that, Chris. We're like, boy, if there's just only somewhere they had extra money where they could do that, right?
Well, that and counties are supposed to do what? I mean, what is our county government supposed to provide? Legally speaking, and sensibly speaking.
County government?
Mm-hmm.
Your roads.
Okay.
Your bridges.
Okay. Police. Safety.
County police. Jail.
Mm-hmm.
Not even fire. Your county doesn't have an obligation.
Municipalities do that.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you volunteer your township.
Yeah, but the counties give money to the municipalities.
Yeah, sure. So all right.
We can include that.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Snow removal. Infrastructure.
Okay. What do counties currently fund?
Wherever the hell they want.
Very
much.
Everything.
They justify anything and everything.
Everything.
Money on.
Mm-hmm.
We give $200,000 to this company coming in. We'll give $300,000 to our economic development so they can go and talk to people about bringing companies here.
Mm-hmm.
Don McLean
county commissioners can do that. That's part of their job. Hey, we want you to come here. Guess what?
Yeah.
You don't get any tax breaks. We just want you to come here. Look at what we have to offer.
Yeah, right.
And it's not cash.
Yeah, right.
We have a workforce. We have experience in this. We have other businesses that can supply to this. I mean, there are things that counties can offer without handing somebody money.
Look,
cut your budgets.
I wouldn't go that
Shit.
crazy.
Well, I would.
First of all, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, that thing needs to be dismantled, busted up. That thing needs to be completely dismantled. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the economic development on the local level, the city, the county. I'm okay with an edit fund, so to speak, in a way. The problem with this is they've literally made edit funds being anything can go for edit. That's the problem. They can use anything for being edit, and that's the problem. I don't have an issue with if you get
fine. If you're going to keep an edit fund, then you have to have very defined limitations on what that money can be spent on. And there also have to be caps on what you can give to anyone.
Who you can give to any one person, what it's for, what's going on. Absolutely. Yeah. This
but
thing.
That would cut those budgets immeasurably.
But you can still give to your own employees, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You can give it through contract to to an employee that's already a full-time employee getting paid from the general fund. Yeah, that's not every county. That's just Muncie.
Oh.
There are things that can be cut from county budgets easily and still provide the services that a county is supposed to provide.
Right.
Well, I always get annoyed. We're like, oh, well, what do we do with the roads if we don't have that money? And then they spend the money on everything but roads. Like, look at Muncie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like,
we won't talk about the fact. And you want to do roads? The state gives out how many millions of dollars annually in road paving money?
Dude, that's the other thing is it seems like they have it so difficult to me because it's like, well, you can't spend that money on this. That money's got to be put in here and it can just be spent on this. First of all, let's revamp all of that. Maybe let's make it as simple as possible. You've got this much money. This much money goes to the state. The state breaks that much, these individual pieces off to the 92 counties. That gets broken up and it goes to the city and the towns and the townships, and you break it all down. And then you do what you're going to do, like the community crossings grant. They put this out, and it's not like they just say, all right, this money can be funded. A matching grant can be funded for roads. It's like it can be funded for a matching grant if this fund is only next to so many feet of green space, or there's got to be a bridge attached to both sides. They put so many weird ass stipulations on stuff. It's just like, don't do that. Just make it to where it's able to fund the small amount of things that it should fund. Like Kate's saying, a municipality, city government's supposed to provide police, fire, snow removal, maybe not even trash removal, snow removal, and infrastructure. And then I've always said economic development at the end of the day, if they can do everything else. But,
but that's at the bottom of the totem pole. We deal with the things we're legally bound to by code.
Right.
Roads, safety, infrastructure, period. Those come first off the top. And then everything else is gravy.
Yeah. So, can you did you listen to? Can you think of anything specific in the JD interview that people need to hear?
It was a lot of gaslighting. I mean, his plan is flawed. Like, he talked about things like he doesn't like shifting the tax burden, and that's the original excuse he gave me for why he voted against tax breaks for disabled veterans. But then he voted for tax breaks for the very similar tax breaks for farmers.
Yeah.
So that's not true. He said that his big thing. Well, going on that same thought process, let me get my thoughts in line here. Thinking about his tax plan, if we're shifting that from property taxes to services, how much is that going to hurt the income of like rural counties, like every county in District 33, right? Jay County doesn't have a ton of services. Like for a lot of services, we were leaving Jay County. So the alternative is you're basically gonna have to pull that and distribute it, which means you're shifting that tax burden onto the bigger cities like Fort Wayne and Indianapolis, and then sending that money out to the rural communities because they are not going to survive on taxes on services alone. It's not going to happen.
I mean, what? We've got 6 hair salons here in Winchester?
Yeah, right.
I mean, every single... we have 6 hair salons. We've got a few places that do car repairs. We've got a few dentists. I mean, we don't have a lot of services here in Randolph County either.
Yeah.
Do you have farmland?
Oh, ding, ding. Got a lot of farmland.
Yeah, buku farmland, which is paying all the property taxes, or paying a lot of property taxes right now. But all JD's rich family farmer friends are who have 3,000 acres aren't going to be paying all that taxes anymore. They're going to push it on to everyone else to pay those taxes.
Yeah, because all those farmers also have LLCs.
Yeah. And he also talked about how he's like, we all just want to do what's best for our community and represent our actual community. But JD was prioritizing private school. And I don't have anything against private school. I actually went to private school for a while and got a pretty good education. Point being, in District 33, when he was pushing that, had a private school. So when he was really pushing all that private school funding, he was pushing all that funding to Indianapolis and all these communities that had tons of private schools. Like, you are not doing what's best for your community. Like, you don't know what you're doing, dude. So,
well, I was saying, he said you wouldn't be taxed on medical services.
Yeah, he said he's like trying to think of exceptions to the service tax.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we can't do too many because then we don't have enough money to spend on all of our wasteful projects.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. Now that you said that, I saw you say that earlier, and I forgot that again, but I do remember that.
And I may be a dummy.
Well, there's 90% of the services here in Randolph County.
Yeah, right. Randolph County's screwed.
Yeah, we have a shit ton of medical services that get provided here because we're an older community.
Yeah, freaking try guy, JD. How are renters paying property taxes? Do renters pay property taxes?
Well, kind of.
People keep bringing that up, and I don't understand how that happens.
Well,
you mean like it's translated from the property owner to the rent?
Yeah, they would include that in their costs. So my mortgage payment includes my property taxes and my insurance. And I make sure that my renters are paying at least that payment or a little more, probably a little more, because I want to have money set aside in case something goes wrong and I need to fix it. So, I mean, the landlords and the property owners are the ones who are
they're the ones
for the bill.
It. Yeah.
But the renters are soaking up that cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could have sworn someone said something along the lines of in one of those plans, like, oh, and we also need to save renters' property tax. I'm like, renters? So here's the other problem with JD's plan, is we already in Indiana have so many out-of-state investors coming in, like even in Jay County, like the house across the street from us, sold to someone in California. That person just starts buying up all the houses in Indiana and Jay County. They're not paying property taxes. They're not paying taxes on services because they're not in Indiana. So we're going to see a much bigger problem where investors start buying up all of our property. And like Kate said, if you're renting out a house, you're not renting it for your mortgage with your taxes and everything. You're renting it for that plus your profit. So we could continue to see property home ownership becoming a thing of the past for a lot of people, and rent going pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna hurt everybody. JD's stupid plan.
Yeah.
So those are kind of things that were stupid to me.
Just thank God that it's not going to be voted on anytime soon, not written in stone. It's basically just two guys sitting around shooting the shit.
And I'm trying to figure out how it is that this is going to save anybody any money.
It's not. It's just going to shift it to your.
It's not. It's going to shift it to other things, and it's probably actually going to end up costing me more. I don't know where he was quoting numbers on there that I don't know how he could have come up with them.
Well, he didn't come up with them. He
or how anybody could come up with them.
I like that humble brag of you got to meet all my staff, but the point is that it's not going to save people money unless it's people who, I don't know, have 3,000 acres of farmland. They'll probably save a bunch of money in the long run.
And an LLC to get out of the service taxes. Yeah.
Correct. So his family will save a fortune. The rest of us are screwed.
Unless we become our own LLCs.
Yeah, right.
So, hey, plan will save us a ton of money, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Rainwater. Rashford is guilty of that. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Big old friendo of Dan Ridenhour. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, Brandon's point about getting out of property taxes or the service taxes. Hey, barber, here's your Christmas present. I get my hair cut for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot easier to skate around those kinds of things in a small community where everybody knows everybody.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, dude, you want to mow my lawn? I'll throw you $20 mow or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, didn't you borrow $20 from me? I need to pay that back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, who's a good mechanic? Hey, I'll give you $100 or whatever. I'll give you $100 to rebuild this in whatever you're doing, right?
And I'll pay it in cash. And I won't write you a check. I'll pay you cash.
Then I don't have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And here's the thing that David Williams said. He said JD's plan is dog shit. Micah's plan is dog shit. The thing is, Micah doesn't have a plan out there or whatever. I just want him to be honest. I want to know, because the connection between Kendall and JD is Micah. Micah is the connection to Kendall and JD. That's where this budding bromance has started from. And I don't believe that even because they hugged at convention that JD's calls Rob up and he's like, hey, yo, man, I've been working on this plan. You want to hear it? I believe that Micah has been involved with this, and I want to know to what end. There's more political stuff going on here. The property tax deal is important, but there's then more political chess that needs to be ferreted out here.
Like Micah had put forward a plan when he was still running for lieutenant governor.
Well, okay.
About property taxes.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that.
Yeah, that. All right, wait. I do remember he did this, but it's been a minute. In property taxes for seniors over the age of 65 who have lived in Indiana for over 10 years. In property taxes.
JD voted against that.
JD voted against it?
Yeah, because that was part of that was the other half of the disabled veterans bill. It was disabled veterans and people over the age of 65, I think, right, Kate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up again. And JD voted against giving them property tax breaks.
Yes.
Oh, so the first two JD voted against.
In property taxes for veterans who served our nation for 10 years. Yep. Cap property taxes at the same level as when the home was purchased. Reduce the agricultural tax rate from 2 to 1%. Stop taxing farmers with buildings at commercial rate of 3%. Help lock in the tax rate at the point of purchase for farmers. The reductions will only apply to American-owned farms.
Okay, I like that very last part. What are you doing, dog?
Didn't Mike Young have a property tax plan for seniors? Yeah, I believe there have been a couple other smaller things that have come together that really never went anywhere, really. But yeah, I believe so. I believe that is true.
Micah's plan is really friendly towards farmers. So I bet he got with JD, and JD said, no, we can do better for farmers than that. And then you just expand it.
Absolutely.
I think Brandon drank too much and fell out of his chair there.
I think he was falling down.
No, my Riley's sitting right here, and she knocked over the light via the cable.
Is that what that was?
She just ran into the cable and pulled the whole thing over.
Ghost dog got Brandon.
Little ghost dog.
Oh, she's a cutie. Yeah, I love that doggy.
She acts like she's cute, don't she, Riley?
She's a monster.
Yes,
If David said, if you remember this property tax debate was started with Rainwater in 2020. Yeah, that's like I'm saying. The number one people need to understand, man. Rainwater is no slouch. I'm just people need to keep this in mind. Look, you can give him a shot. Let's give him a shot, man. What would be harm with giving the dude a shot? Look what we've had with Holcomb for the last too fucking long.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and look what the Republicans did. Rainwater puts forward his property tax plan. He did, for Libertarian, did brilliantly in the 2020 election. But what did they start doing? They started running on property tax reform, and they did nothing to actually help Hoosiers.
Yeah.
They're trying to bounce off of his success, but none of the plans they come up with can hold a candle to what he's talking about, as far as really helping an everyday Hoosier.
Hey, you know what's funny? Is his plan is really popular, so why not just do his plan?
Right. That's the thing that I don't understand is, you know what would really be amazing is if all of them would come together, because Braun should be a Hoosier, Rainwater's a Hoosier, JD's a Hoosier, McCormick's a Hoosier. They could all just come together and be like, listen, let's all run as our different selves, but this would help all of us. So why don't we just go ahead, bipartisan, and push this through and be done with this so we can all be helped.
Yeah.
Oh, they claim it would bankrupt Indiana.
It would bankrupt Indiana.
Oh, it would bankrupt the county. But if a county is serious about being fiscally responsible, we all know that the majority of counties in the state are being run by the Republicans, who are the fiscally responsible party. They've learned to be fiscally
That's the problem. We don't. Yeah, that's the problem. They would have to be. They would have to be. My grandpa always says, like, man, until we started watching this, until we started watching your program, I just didn't know that the city of Muncie or Delaware County had that kind of money to just throw away like they're doing, just toss out there.
1.6 million spent in 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, right. They do it weekly, daily, monthly. It's crazy. How long ago, Tweety Bird? Which article?
I saw the Indianapolis Star did an article that Micah shared, but I don't have a subscription, so I couldn't see it.
I'll teach you my trick after the show. You can see it.
I want some audience conspiracy theories. So we've all been talking about why the hell did JD release this plan right after Mike Braun's? What is the motivation? So we're kind of torn. Do we think that JD's gone rogue and he's trying to make a name for himself. Is he just pushing Micah's plan because he's buddies with Micah? Is he taking orders from the party because the party is pissed at Braun and they're trying to undermine Braun? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah. Are there any thoughts out there from people? What are your thoughts there?
Or is it something else?
Yeah, or is it something else?
Because how long we've been discussing this since JD went on the rate? Well, no, even before that, since Rob announced that, that JD was going to be on with this plan. We've been talking about why. Election year.
Yeah, so I don't get the point because, well, I don't know. JD generally doesn't worry too much. He's in such a Republican district. Like, think about this. He's a complete dipshit. I was trying to think of the nicest word I could come up with.
That is the nicest word you can come up with.
Yes,
and he's been elected, 3 times now?
Yeah, this will be his 4th.
Being a complete inept moron who's gotten nothing accomplished for his district hasn't stopped people from voting for him.
Well, and has actually voted on things that actually would hurt his district.
Yeah. And people still voted for him. So I don't know if he's worried about getting reelected. No offense to his opponent. It's just it's hard to get that message out when the Republican Party dumps like tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars in his campaign to just blanket the district with ads. I mean,
and lies.
And just lies to people. It makes it hard to beat him. Even being a complete idiot, that doesn't hurt him.
Well, and it all comes back again to he has had some good Republican candidates, specifically one really good Republican candidate in the 2020 election and then again in 2022 that came damn close, very close to taking him out. It was basically a last minute mailer that went out that was just a complete shit show lie, bunch of lies and some last minute HRCC donations that helped him. And
what was it? It was $70,000 in 2 weeks.
Something like that. They got
I don't remember the exact figure anymore, but it was asinine the amount of money they threw at him.
But they were throwing at him over like a 2-week period right before the end of the election, which was just insane.
Which again brings us back to the HRCC owns him, so they tell him what to do. So I'm curious if they gave him that plan and said, "Hey, Braun pissed us off. Go on the radio." And I just don't see the advantage to them of losing the governorship, though.
And maybe they think we can battle him. There is no loss. We're not going to lose it. We can treat him however we want to treat him. We can do what we want. Maybe they're to that point that they're just like, Todd's like, I run the show.
It's a power play.
Yeah, let's just push him around and show him that we're not going to.
We'll show him that
he's our bitch.
If he wants legislation passed, he needs to play ball.
And JD's just dumb enough to just take the plan and run with it.
Okay, guys. Yeah.
Sure. I like feeling
important. Shine box. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Keep shine box.
Yeah. Because I don't see him going against Todd Houston for anything.
Well, and they couldn't have picked a better guy to do it because of this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Anybody mildly contentious comes to him to ask him anything about it. Nope. Sorry. No time for questions.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Right.
We just throw this out there into the wind.
Yeah. Well, in the way the Indiana Republican Party works, if he's going against Todd Houston right now, he's done next election. They'll destroy him in the next primary. They'll move his office down next to the water heater in the basement. They'll take away his representative parking pass, so he has to walk freaking mile.
Remove him off of the Ways and Means Committee, which he was touting about in the Kendall interview.
So if he's actually going against Todd Houston, I mean, I've heard from other representatives about them just calling forth actual conservative legislation without Todd Houston's permission, and they get called to his office and told, you never do that.
Don't do that again.
You will suffer, basically.
Yeah.
Like, we will destroy you. So, I mean, even trying to do conservative things that the party should want, they almost get destroyed for it without permission.
And they chose Prescott to do it because they're not worried about him losing his seat.
They're not worried. Yeah. He's there until they don't want him to be. Or if he's win against them, we'll know pretty soon.
Because he's not going to get any donations anymore.
Yeah. Right. I mean,
and they'll just have the party find a new candidate in District 33 and just push them out, give that candidate all the money, and well, another thing that Prescott has to be concerned about is they used to have what's her name, old Kansas, Wyoming, what the hell's her name, Lisa Teal used to run that paper, and that paper would just suck the asshole. She would just suck up to JD. I mean, when he had a political opponent in that campaign, that last election, typically the paper would always do an article to let people know about the candidates. They just refused to do it. I think Kate sent him a message and said, "Why aren't you doing it?" And said, "Oh, there's no interesting races." Yeah. You mean a representative race isn't interesting? You're not going to inform the people about it? So Lisa Teal was friends with the Prescott family and has no journalistic integrity or ethics whatsoever. So she was protecting old JD, but that paper's been sold now, and I believe it's the same person who runs the Jay County paper, Commercial Review, and he's been taking the Republican commissioners to task. He just turned them into Luke Britt and did a big article about how they violated open door laws. So JD's not going to
back to that, Stephen. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, so JD's not going to get coddled by that newspaper anymore.
Yeah, they're done
with there anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that, Stephen. I don't think that's too much of a tinfoil hat theory. I think JD is chomping at the bit. He wants that so much. Yeah. I think he would take anything. He so badly wanted to be the next Mike
Marlon Sussman.
Greg Pence.
Oh, the next Mike Pence's brother?
Mike Pence's brother. He wanted to be the next Pence brother so badly he could taste it. But he also wants to be the Marine. He wants he feels that's his, and that's the reason he's doing this whole suck up to Micah thing, because he was all buddy with Suzanne Crouch, and now that he's losing Suzanne Crouch, he's like, I need somebody to make me feel important. So that's all. It's just all political posturing for JD, and
and the rumor was that he wanted to run for what was open, U.S. Rep.
He wanted to be in Congress, I thought.
Yeah. I can't remember what seat was open.
Whose seat was open? Was it? Wait a minute. It was going to be if Braun was running. Braun was running for governor.
Would he have gotten Jim Banks' seat? Is that the one he wanted?
Jim Banks. He wanted Jim Banks' seat.
Yes.
We remember when we thought that was a possibility, that there was some rumor that he was kissing ass. Remember when he used to really hardcore be all over? He kind of like bounces from person to person. It's really weird.
Well, and the thing is, he hasn't accomplished anything. So maybe he's trying to look like he's accomplished something. Yeah. Because how do you run for Senate and be like, oh, let's list all of your big signature pieces of legislation? Anti-First Amendment, bullshit, he's had 3 bills passed in 6 years. His first 2 years, he got nothing passed.
Which in all fairness, he said he wasn't going to do anything.
So that's fair. So in 4 years, he got 1 bill passed, and then finally, out of a total of 6 years now, he's gotten 3 bills passed. 2 of them are anti-First Amendment. It was what was it? Increasing the fees for being able to get body cam footage.
Yeah, yeah.
Allowing people to get kicked out of public meetings for arbitrary reasons,
and charged with trespass.
And then his third one is they changed the timeline on paying
ATV
for overweight indivisible loads.
Or, something like that. Yeah.
And JD's taking a lot of indivisible loads, so he knows a lot
right. He knows a lot about those indivisible loads.
So he's not done anything noteworthy, nothing that's helped the citizen yet. Like
and this has no chance of passing.
And
it's a logistic nightmare.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you run on, I'm going to run for Senate because I
put forward property tax reform?
Because I'm for property tax reform, but I'm not getting anything done on it because I'm not an effective legislator. I've heard from other legislators that they see him as a placeholder, and that the talk around the House is that people don't particularly respect him. He's just kind of there, and he's kind of
there.
So competent runs for it or can get in.
I've heard that. that.
Maybe he thinks he's going to run for Senate. Maybe he thinks if he kisses up to Micah and tries to make some big moves, maybe he can get it. But I don't think the party's going to let that happen.
You know what? It reminds me, for any of you people that are the Sopranos fans, it reminds me of in the Sopranos when Paulie
yes, Stephen
Gutierrez, when Paulie Walnuts kept trying to kiss the ass of Johnny Sack, and he was like getting in big time with the New York family, and he thought like Johnny Sack's people like Carmine and all that were gonna like love him and know who he was, and then he ran into Carmine at that wedding and they didn't even know who he was. That is what JD is. Like JD's like, man, I'm really big with all the cool people, and like no one except the one person out from him knows who he is, but he thinks he's bigger than shit and no one else cares.
I think it's more likely that he's schmoozing up to Micah in an attempt at thinking that Micah, after Braun's done, Micah will run for governor and he'll pick JD to be his lieutenant governor.
Oh, God.
Well, if we think about that, JD is definitely not in good with Braun because he was, oh my gosh, the almighty endorsement of JD for Suzanne Crouch.
Oh, yeah.
Previous lieutenant governor.
Yeah. And he's buddy with Beckwith, which, both of those things should put him at odds with Braun. Yes, Scott Alexander is the current senator for his district. And
Part of.
Because Holderman's the other one. There's 2 senators over his district.
And what about Rotz? Oh no, Rotz dropped down.
He dropped down. So it's Travis Holderman for the top half of his district and Scott Alexander for the bottom.
Yeah, that's right.
And apparently Travis Holderman, per what Christopher read earlier, is also pissed off at Braun for his
Braun. Yeah, that's weird. So JD would have a better run of it if he was going to go for senator. He would have a better run if whenever Holdman's done going after his seat, because he's, for whatever reason, loved in Jay County, which is gross. Holman,
I'll give the credit of A, being smart, 2, being able to like speak and being somewhat likable,
and 3, not throwing people out of town halls,
and didn't throw us out of town hall. Like I remember when we were recording, he goes, "Hey, you guys recording?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Good." He went, "Good."
Yeah. Every time I've been in front of that man, he's like, "I like what you're doing. Keep it up. Do this." Every time. So there's nothing.
So he's likable and he can answer a question, and whether he's
I meant
or not.
No. That's not what I meant. I meant for some reason JD is liked by various people. So if
I thought you were talking about Holdman.
No. Meaning if he was going to take a run for Senate, first of all, JD wouldn't run against Alexander or Holdman. He would take the seat in place of when they left. And to me, Holdman would probably leave before Alexander would. Alexander has just started, but Holdman's been there a while. I don't know. I mean, he could be there for as long as he wants. But if he did leave, to me, if I was JD, well, I wanted to say what I would do if I was JD, but if I was JD and I wanted to run for Senate, I would run in Jay County, the area, because I would think that you would have a better shot up there.
Well, people in Jay County don't like JD.
The people don't like him, but the party people are all kind of...
The party people like him. The majority of the votes that JD gets in general are low information voters.
Yeah, right.
Like the votes that his opponents get, like even who was it who just ran against him in the primary? I can't remember his name.
LeMaster.
People who voted for LeMaster are the people in the know who hate JD because people didn't like LeMaster. I thought LeMaster was running deliberately as a spoiler in case JD's other previous opponent had run to kind of split the anti-JD vote because a lot of people that don't vote for JD don't care who's running against him. They just hate him. And it's probably about 25% of the people. The remaining percent are people that maybe like his opponent. And then maybe 50% don't know anything about politics and just vote to vote.
Yeah, right.
They just don't know any better, and they get just bombarded with mailers. They go, J.D. Prescott. Yeah, I saw this
I know
thing
that name.
Help us with property taxes. I'm going to vote for him.
I saw his stupid face.
To your point about the low information voters, what part of his district did he almost lose?
His own county.
His own county.
He lost his own county, didn't he?
No, he won by 58 votes.
Yeah, close to 60 votes. He almost lost his own county.
Okay. So he almost lost his own county because the people that are here see him.
They know him.
They know him.
The areas
and they don't like him.
Yeah, the areas that know JD the most are where he did the worst.
Yes.
Yeah. That's very telling.
Mm-hmm. It is very telling.
To come that close to losing your home county and to know that the people who know you the most are the people who are turning away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even the political class, I don't even care anymore. The political class in Randolph County, like Bob was supporting JD's opponent.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them, the problem is the party politics are so bullshit, they won't do it publicly. They'll be like, here, I'll donate to you. Like, let me hand out signs for you. Like, let me introduce you to the right people.
Yeah.
And recommend you. But they get scared to endorse you publicly because they're like, well, the Prescott family is going to be pissed if they hear that Bob McCoy is supporting his opponent. But he did. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, but it just shows what a gutless wonder.
Yeah, well,
90% of these people who are in politics are.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not singling anybody out. They are. They're a bunch of gutless wonders who refuse to stand by their own consciences.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I don't support this guy, and you shouldn't either. They go, well, the party tells me I should, so I'm going to sit there and shut my mouth.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah.
So, politics are weird.
It's definitely a weird thing. I don't know. I think time will tell what goes on with the deal with Beckwith. I'm going to be real upset. I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to continue asking him what his deal is, what his connection to this plan is, and if he continues blowing me off, I'm going to throw a fit with that because that's not what he is, and he ran on being the person that's in the street talking to you, and so for him to be blowing that off, just constantly blowing. Well, look, that answers me all I need to know, to be honest. I don't need to hear any more from him. I asked him, he ducked out. That's all I need to know. That tells me everything I need to know.
So it appears that he's undermining his own running mate.
Yeah.
Or trying to force his running mate to go further right. Right is a relative term in Indiana.
Are we okay with the Beckwith plan? If you're talking about the Beckwith plan from when he ran, or if we're talking about the Beckwith plan that he put forward when he was running, no, there needs to be major adjustments to that. In my opinion, we need to stick with Rainwater's plan.
I mean, it does some good things. Like all these things they present, like they're obviously not going to present something that completely sucks, right? Because voters aren't going to be like, oh, you guys are going to increase our taxes and do nothing.
Yeah,
like,
right.
They're not going to do something like that. Like, oh, well, we'll decrease your taxes by this little marginal thing. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's nice. I mean, cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to have $50 more a year. That'd be great. But that doesn't change my life.
Sure.
It's not great. It's not a great plan.
Yeah.
Does it have some good things? Sure.
There
didn't help me significantly. Yeah. It's the best plan.
Even with Braun's plan, there are good pieces to it, but it was just it was so much of a shit show.
In JD's plan is the little kid who draws the house with the water slides and shit.
That's hilarious.
It's a dream that doesn't do anything and doesn't actually work.
Well, again, like you heard, all you needed to hear about the Kendall, about the JD plan, Kendall and JD said in the first 30 seconds of that interview, which was, this isn't set in stone, and this isn't even something that's going to be voted on or dealt with for the next year or two. So, right there is all you need to know. So we need to be looking at Rainwater's plan. We need to be pushing Rainwater. While we're saying that, I do really quickly want to remind everybody, and Stephen, while you're here, in case you don't know, we, the three of us, are going to be putting on 3 digital town halls for Rainwater. It's not going to be specifically a political spotlight thing. It's going to be a Rainwater event. It's going to be a digital town hall that we are producing and moderating. And it's going to be Thursday, August 15th from 7 to 8 p.m., Thursday, September 12th from 7 to 8, and Thursday, October 17th from 7 to 8. If you are interested in putting in a question or questions, you can submit questions for the Rainwater Town Hall events at the following link, rainwater4indiana.com/contact. You can also go directly to the YouTube link. Like, for example, the YouTube link for all of them is, they're on our YouTube page, but it's the bit.ly link /Rainwater Town Hall 081524. Obviously, the September is no periods, 09/12/24, and then October is 10/17/24. You can go to those 3 places and put your questions in the comments. You can email it to him. You can submit it to me by however contact. But the best way to do it is by entering it in that Rainwater for Indiana contact, and try to do so at least 2 days before the event. So that's a week
put
for
what
this coming
date you want it addressed.
Yeah, put in what date that you want to address.
The August
or
town hall, September
whatever.
town hall, October, whatever.
Yeah. And so definitely that will be live. That'll be a cool thing we'll be doing. And so that will be awesome. Hopefully Rainwater will hopefully Rainwater will address. I think we were talking. What was it that you were talking about wanting him to address?
Me?
Yeah. With the property plan, like if there was something.
Well, so right now, this property tax plan, which is brilliant, by the way, but it currently only addresses the home you live in.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to be cutting revenue in counties.
Yeah.
On this plan, which I don't have a problem with. I think they should tighten their belts, whatever.
Sure, yeah,
but counties are not going to like that.
Yeah.
So I want to find out if he has something additional on this for ag, for businesses,
for businesses,
to try to prevent counties from just, oh, well, we don't have any rules about those. So
was it ag businesses and rentals specifically addressed?
Rental property owners.
Rental property owners. Yeah.
Because they're taxed at a different rate than your homestead.
Well, hopefully,
we don't get homestead deduction.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully that'll
what do you do with those to try to prevent counties from jacking those assessments up and ending up hurting our farmers, our business owners? I don't care about the rental owners, but I care about the renters who are going to suck up that cost.
Yeah, the rental owners will have to. They'll have to. You can't rent a house at a loss. Why would you do that? You just sell a house and you don't rent it anymore.
So I mean,
right.
So I do want to know if he has.
Not a charity.
So that was my question: if he has some kind of extension, to apply to those different categories, of property tax bills.
Yeah. My question is, what is that critter in Steven's picture there?
It is a porcupine.
Oh, it's just a little porcupine. It's hard to see that little picture.
Yeah, put it back up there.
Whatever, it looks cute.
It's a porcupine. And the only reason I know that is because I used to have a hedgehog, and people sometimes think that hedgehogs look like porcupines, and but it's a libertarian porcupine.
Love it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, the last thing I forgot from the last thing from the JD interview on Rob Kendall I forgot was Rob Kendall asked JD if he's been talking to people in the house about that and what their reception is. You remember that?
No.
Yeah, Rob, he's like, hey, have you been talking to people in the house about your bill? Is it going to go forward? And he goes, well, let me tell you, Rob. People, they haven't chased me out of the house yet.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, they listened to me, which means that nobody else is on board with it. If there are other people who are on board with it, like, oh yeah, Travis Holdman's going to sign on to it.
He would have named it.
Matt Lehman's going to sign on. He goes, well, they've listened to me.
Oh yeah, because JD loves pulling out the names of the very well known.
Yeah.
To show how in he is.
There were a couple of really good times during that interview where JD did his best impression of, where he did his best impression of the Kamala laugh. And it's horrible. JD's is maybe a little worse. It's nuts. And he did that a couple different times. I do recall that, but yeah. It's ridiculous.
Was Tanya on Mouthwash tonight?
Yes, she was on Mouthwash tonight. And we keep throwing up the reminder about the town hall on the 15th. There is also a lieutenant governor debate scheduled for 3 p.m. on the 13th of August. And we will be live streaming that right here. So as long as you click subscribe and click the bell and set up your notifications, you will get a notification for that. So keep that in mind. It will be right here live stream.
I love how they would schedule that stuff so everyone can be there. But hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Tanya's going to be there. So
yeah. You know what? She wasn't. They didn't have her on there.
They did originally, right?
They didn't have her on. And I sent an email. I mean, I'm going to take the credit myself. No, I sent an email to them.
Do you know who I am?
Friday night, and I was like, hey, my name's Kristopher Bilbrey. I'm from the Political Spotlight. I would like to see yada, yada, yada. We're going to be talking about it, and I would like to see this on there. and I told a couple of other people, and like the day later, I saw they had squeezed her in there.
Yeah, the remove background tool didn't work for her picture, apparently.
Yeah, right. I'm like, send that to me. I can remove the background and put her in there. They also weren't going to live stream it. How ridiculous, man.
Well, everyone's free at 3:00 on a Thursday or something?
Yeah.
What day did you say it was? The
Tuesday the 13th.
Oh, Tuesday.
Fucking ridiculous, man. 3 p.m., man. 3 p.m. How can people attend that stuff?
Hell, even the kids are still getting out of school at that time.
Oh, yeah, right. What is going on, man? It's just so gross. So it's going to be live streamed. We're going to live stream it. It's going to be here. We're going to catch it. I'd like to go down and be there in person. I might see about doing it. I don't know. I hate
I'm glad they added Tanya. They usually make up some bullshit reason why they can't be there. Well, they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't have 20 grand by the blood moon.
Yeah, right. And Rainwater is going to be in all of the debates that go on. So
that's going to be sick, dude.
Yeehaw! We'll live stream those, of course, as well. So, all right, Brando, you got any last thoughts?
No, I'm just looking for that one-sided fist fight when Don Rainwater just destroys those debates. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So as it stands right now, I go with Rainwater's plan.
Yep.
Braun's plan was a disaster. JD himself is a disaster. Who the hell knows what Jennifer McCormick is doing? I guess you'll have to tune in to Rob and Kendall tomorrow. Kendall and Casey tomorrow. He would like it to be called the Rob and Kendall Show.
The Rob and Kendall Show.
Listen, I like Rob. Rob's a pretty good guy. Rob normally holds people's feet to the fire. He's playing politics with this. I get it. It is what it is. It's just kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I would say in his defense, I listened to that last part and I kind of get it. He's like, I just want to make sure this conversation goes. And I can see my problem was he's not going to have JD on there and be like, hey, dumb bitch. So here's my first question. Like he could have not said things like, I wish there were 100 of you in the state house. That'd be a lot of lawsuits.
That's ridiculous.
That'd be a lot of blocking on Facebook and running out of meetings. And in all fairness, Rob knows that if you asked JD a hard question, he would have run out crying anyway, like he did at that one town hall.
Yeah.
So he wanted to get through the segment, so he couldn't really ask anything tough.
I mean, I don't want half a JD anywhere.
Yeah, no shit, let alone 100.
I definitely don't want 100 of him anywhere. So
we need to have that picture always ready to go of JD running out of that room crying.
Of JD running out now, man. I will get it and I will put it in the overlays from now on because that is needed. We need to have that there.
If anybody ever wants to find that picture, just look up JD Prescott loser, and the very first thing that will come up is a Reddit for our Indiana, and it's got a picture of JD running out of the room crying. That wasn't my doing. It usually is. That one's not me. I had nothing to do with that one.
The entire thread is a thing of beauty if you do not like JD Prescott.
Wait. What is it? Tell it to me again.
If you just Google JD Prescott loser.
JD Prescott loser.
And the first thing that comes up, it says lose. It's a Reddit thread. It's loser Indiana.
Okay, hold on. We gotta show this because that is very true.
And you might have to read true. And read some. Kate is 100% correct. If you read some of the comments, they are hilarious.
Okay.
And there's 425 comments. Like the very first comment is, I went to school with JD. He's always had a lot of excuses and has never done anything without mommy and daddy bankrolling it. Also, he is a complete idiot. At this meeting, he said some pretty homophobic things and wanted to ban the book. It isn't historic for being pornographic. He alleged Indiana schools are teaching critical race theory and are pushing an agenda, blah, blah, blah. He feels like he needs bullshit culture war legislation to be able to win the federal House seat. The first response to that is someone who also went to school with him couldn't agree more. He's a complete moron, et cetera, et cetera. But some of these comments are so funny, dude.
72.
Wasn't there something about him being a cumsock?
Yes.
It says, so this is what it looks like when a cumsock takks human form. Is that what you're talking about, Kate?
Yeah, I think so. It was something along those lines.
Yes.
It was
rather beautiful.
I like this one. Someone goes, guys like this call their wives mother.
And that is so true.
They responded to have people under his stairs.
Oh my God. It's been a long time since I've seen this. I remember this, but it's
yeah, they're making fun of him openly wearing that holster incorrectly. You guys are forgetting he was at the 4-H building. You really never know when an ill-tempered rabbit with fangs that flies through the air might attack. Good old Monty Python reference. That one is a Monty Python reference.
Yes. Sorry about your penis, dude. What a limp dick.
I love the gun is to distract you from his small penis and the fact that he's a huge loser. And then someone said it didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't distract us from it.
This guy looks like Ted Cruz in disguise, which is funny because Ted Cruz is already in disguise as a human being. Oh, look at this.
Is there what is it?
It's the lyrics.
Oh, so JD's got a gun?
JD's got a gun. Representative, what have you done? Dumb, dumb, dumb. We see the picture of your gun. Representative, what have you done is the picture. It's the picture. JD's got a gun. House Bill 1134 has come undone. He's not talking. He's keeping mum. What did that old lady do? All she did was talk about when you were in school. They said when JD was elected, he threw us all underneath the train. But when we all... What?
So we did this in what? It was 2020?
Yeah.
They didn't have the AI tools that they have now.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you could find a program that would do Aerosmith with those lyrics. And it would be amazing.
Yeah. I'll have to work on that. I'm sure that's probably very doable.
Very doable now.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Amazing.
Well, there's a lot of references to his little wiener.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Isn't that it's almost like if the shoe fits. He looks like the Virgin versus Chad meme. Oh God.
Someone says, it says what upset him? One of his former teachers quoted as mommy, LOL.
Yeah, that's a true story. Listen, he got mad and he ran out. This picture right here. He got mad and he ran out of this meeting because a lifelong friend of his family asked him a question. And because of that, he got mad and stormed out. And about didn't continue on. They had to do this whole big long thing to get him back in. Here's what kills me is I was going to this. We were all going to it. Brandon was there. Kate was there. A whole big bunch of us were going. And I was running on Bilbrey Unstandard time.
Yeah.
And so, it was what it was. I didn't think anything about it. And I get a phone call from Brandon and a text message phone call telling me, like, don't come, or you've missed it. JD brought a gun. He's already stormed out of the meeting, yelling and crying. And I was like, they're just telling me that shit. But it really did happen. One question.
Oh yeah, dude. The whole room gasped, and like, I think one of us was filming, and I accidentally got me on tape being like making fun of him. I was like, he's probably sitting out back with one of those big rainbow lollipops, wearing the security guard's hat, crying.
Yes,
sitting on a desk where his feet couldn't reach the floor.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
But you're right. It was one question in. This was the first town hall he ever did by himself. Because usually Rots would carry it and answer all the hard questions and like back him up. But like Rots' daughter was like moving or getting married or something. There's some family thing he had to do. I don't care. I don't care about his family. I don't mean to bring his family into it, but he had some family thing to do. So so he couldn't be there. And so JD was on his own, and like it was tense because and I was just reading in this thread, it was he and Chuck Goodrich worked on that HB 1134 together. Yeah. Chuck Goodrich, who is now out of office, thank God, because he's corrupt as shit.
Yeah.
He was the same one who wrote that bill that would just pump a ton of money into his private business.
Yep.
And then he ran for Congress thinking because what is her name? The Ukrainian. Why can't I think of her name?
Oh, Victoria Spartz.
Victoria Spartz. She said she wasn't going to run for re-election, so he dropped out of the House race, his seat, to run for Congress. And then she goes, "Never mind, I'm going to run." And she beat him, so now he's out of office, which is awesome because he's tough. I was so excited when I heard he lost.
He was a loser too.
Yeah, he's a big loser.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, listening. This has been a long one.
Brandon's rambling on his favorite topics.
No, we could go on hating on JD. And look, it's all because he's been a horrible representative. I don't know anything about him personally. I don't care about him personally. Just be a good elected official or step the hell out of the way. It's not that hard. Yeah, I don't know. So, well, thank you guys very much for watching. Please hit the like on your way out. The few of you here that are still remaining, you guys are fantastic. We will be back tomorrow. We'll have some more information about what's going on with City of Muncie. I'll look into this ordeal with the communications director. We will go from there. Brandon, thank you as always for coming on. We'll see you back here next time you're here. And it's always a fun time with Brandon. Thanks for Kate for everything she always does. She's done a great job tonight. Hey, before we leave, I do want to just say real quickly, obviously tonight is Tuesday. It is the 6th of August. That means we are 218 days with no correspondence from Dale Basham, the Muncie at-large city councilor. Very sad, very disturbing, and it just keeps on growing. We will continue counting down as long as he refuses to communicate and bring attention to it. So there it is. Give us a like on your way out, folks, and we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Good night.
Later. Staying awake the whole time.
Right?
Brandon.
You knew we were talking about your favorite topic. You know, you're